then came back in. And for all the people that keep asking about crazy prints on your chart, those are just dark pool prints that are late reporting, sometimes from overnight, sometimes from the day before. Oftentimes they'll go off at yesterday's close, which I guess you're seeing here on Tesla. There's been some on Microsoft, but you can't get those fills. Like, trust me, if you could get that fill, I'd beat it. Whoa, Tesla just broke 700. Well, that's really, Tesla just spiked $4 or $5. So obviously a big spike up. Now Amazon comes down, but that was a weird spike on Tesla.
Bring it. The cash just flowing in right now. Like when Amazon ripped up there, I couldn't get enough shares short. Like I'll just offer. So we got 2 or 3 fills down there. We just got a 121.80 fill there on Amazon, and so we're short 122.40 right now. This is going to come to the downside. So any sort of a move here, we want more shares to this name. I don't believe in any sort of a bump up here for Amazon. So that was just such an gift there. Like when it spiked up, you saw me. I was like, boom, let's go right over to Amazon. Boom. We wanted that. We got filled initially when we were sitting there, took some more shares. Now it's come right back in. So the winners abound right now. And so there we are. We've already gotten a decent amount of money out of this market here, but we are in Apple. That's the only one that's red for us right now, down against us 12 cents. Amazon's 50 cents in the money and about to print a hell of a lot lower than this. And then Target's going to print a lot lower than this as well, down to 147. Let's see if Target can't get some love back into 145, and then we could just be done trading at 931. Okay, so here comes Amazon. Hopefully that'll keep going. We want the short there. We want the short in Apple. We want to look at Microsoft as well as we're getting ready to rock and roll. Microsoft till 266. I'm actually not going to worry about Microsoft. I've got Amazon on my mind, and we've got Apple on our mind as well. So let's see what happens here on this early day with only, I guess now only 20 seconds to go before we print some hopefully lower lows here. Let's get ready to rock and roll with this market. Only 15 seconds to go. And it's Tuesdays with Tony today. Get ready for 2:45 with the man, the myth, the legend, who's on the bell as we speak.
He is. Another reload on Target up there. In 5, Tony, 4, 3, 2, and ring it. Well, that was quick.
All right, let's see where we go from here. Another out there on Amazon. We'll wait to see where Target goes. Obviously, we like these short spots in Target, but it's going to have to just settle down a little bit and open up. The spread right now, 50 cents. We like it, man. It's going to be a good stock. I'm hoping to trade that a lot. There goes Target. Another short at 149. So this is dancing right now, guys.
Yeah, that was actually a crazy fill on Target. I'm watching Tesla because remember 700 is that key level. It's holding above that price, so we want to see it shake itself out. I don't want to get in too early there. Amazon didn't give a reload, so no spike in Amazon. Looks like it is only heading to that downside. If you're tracking over there in Microsoft or Apple, the market did make a little bit of a bounce. Apple testing this 144.70, 145 obviously the big level on Apple, but it's going to test that in a few seconds.
Yeah, good. Let's go short. We're more short into Apple right now. We want this name to be to the downside in AAPL. A nice little take on Target as well. And what did we say about Amazon? Like, give it up. Like, there it is, man. Where's the money? There it is to the downside as Amazon now $1 in the money, and still going down. We called this move on Amazon, and there it is right to the downside. So it doesn't get any easier than that, guys, on AMZN. Hopefully you guys are all printing. Hopefully behind us, we have a couple graduates. There goes Amazon to the downside. 121 printing, man. We gave this one to you. It was literally just gave people free money up there at 122.50. So we'll cash out on that one as Amazon to the downside. Target keeps going to the downside as we reload that as well. A couple nice prints upside for us here. But wow, what a big day, man. Almost at an imaginary one-day target. One goal here for this. Let's go. Amazon, see you later, alligator, as your boy says, downside. The #1 name on the sticky note, printing for us, Target and Amazon.
Tesla obviously rejected that 700 level. You can quickly see here. We're down below it. I got the 98s. Quickly took some out in front of the low of the day in case it bounced. Now we're just in a hold mode. So we'll see what happens with Tesla, how far we can go. I think 75, I think 80. Sorry, 75 to 80 is the ultimate target on Tesla. So we'll get out in front of that one if it gets down there that quickly. You already covered Amazon there. I did finally get that small cap, that Hellbiz. Remember, I'm just going long in front of $1. So that's a pretty simplistic style trade there. Target also making a continual push to the downside. I'm going to be on the bid for Amazon at 120. I think there can be a bit of a bounce there. But Tesla, Target caught a bid at 147. It did come back up, give us some fills in front of 149, but there are buyers at 147. So I want to make sure we're taking profit on Target in front of that 147 mark.
Guys, we're just in God mode right now. Apple to the downside. We just look at that we just got some out at 144.15 there on Apple. Amazon as well. We just cleaned that out at 120.60. Are you kidding me? Right now, the only name that's not going to work out for us temporarily, and I still think it does, man, is Target here. Target's actually my #1 stock. Let's just see if it takes down that 150, and if it does, then we can get out of the way. So let's just put in our stop order right now for a 150 take on Target. If it does that, then it goes up to the upside, and we will be out of TGT, but I dare it to do that. Which it might do, so I shouldn't dare anything right now. So we'll see what Target wants to do to me here. We'll go short again on this one. There goes Apple starting to rip up to the upside.
XOM broke 100, so I had the short on XOM. I said I'll always try to play this in both directions, right? Short in front of 100 on the daily chart. If you're tuning in late, this is what the daily chart looks like on ExxonMobil, right? Like it broke that 100 level finally after about a week there. So I tried the short in front. Now I'm into the long. We reversed it. It's already at 150 cents, obviously. Big seller there at 55, so I'll take some out there. I want to buy dips in front of 100. I want to play this to the long side. The market is trying to rally here, but somehow the shorts outside of Target are working out. Tesla might give me a chance at a reload if it holds below that 700 mark. This is that key sort of line in the sand. I mean, if it holds below 700, I want to be bearish on Tesla. This market is attempting a bounce here, despite the fact that it's down 1%.
Okay, so we're just reloading everything right now. Target's breaking right now 150, so that's going to be a problem as it takes down. We just got out a little bit there. We'll hold a little bit of Target, but that looks like it's going to the upside. So credit to Sharif, probably bought some of those bottoms there. Good call on that one. What's up, Brendo?
VERU, guys, popped up at the open there on a huge volume spike. They submitted to the FDA a emergency use authorization application today for a COVID drug.
Peru. I thought that was actually moving a little bit, and apologies for not getting to it. That Hellbiz, we talked about buying in front of a buck. Okay, so I didn't buy 105s. I got the 3s. It's already at 9s and 10s, so I will start taking some profit on it. Look, it's a dollar stock, so if you're not going to take 10 cents on a dollar stock, then you shouldn't trade it. That doesn't make any sense to me. Amazon didn't get to, Yeah, Amazon didn't get to that 120 mark. Looks like it bounced off 120.50. I should have taken that all out there. I was thinking about the long in front of 120, but I still hung on to some of that short. I'm just going to see if I can't get it out in front of 121. This market does look a little bit juicy into that upside print. XOM, it did give that first push. Whoops, that's on the New York. Shoot. Now it's going to freeze. Oh, it didn't freeze. That gave that push to 150. If it gets to 101, that's a good psychological level, but I want to hold this. I mean, there's no upside. Like, there's no resistance on XOM. Like, 100's already gone. So I'm just sort of thinking, wait for some technical breaks back down or momentum pushes. So I'd like to see a bit of a dip so I could add to this position. But, off to the races. You got a multi-day high here that just got taken out, $100, a pretty big one for ExxonMobil.
Yeah, so we're going to watch out here as Apple continues to make a move upside. We did get stopped on a piece of our target, but now we're starting to get printed lower here. We're short at 149.50, so we held on to a little bit of it. We just took some out at 149.20. We'll see if it can come back to 148. That's going to be questionable whether or not that falls now. But we did have that nice top at 151. So we'll hold on to a little bit of this name as we go. We should have probably reloaded this AMZN trade, but the market just went off. So we were starting to average into our Apple. Amazon there, 122. That could have been good down there. Now we're 80 cents in the money on this name. Should have reloaded it up at 122. Let's try to put an offer there to do that if it does get back up. I don't know if it's going to. We might as well take a 90 or so if we can get that on here on Amazon. But realistically, man, Target's not a worry for me anymore as we're pretty light on that. That was a good one. But for me, it's going to be Apple right now as we've been shorting into this. Short there. Nice out early on Apple. And then the rip up happened in the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ's still down 0.91. We'll see what happens here as we continue to march to the upside in the NASDAQ. So more short for Apple. And remember, where we go when we get out of this one is going to be 147 or so on AAPL. What's up, Brendo?
2 days in a row, guys. Strength for Chinese ADRs. PDD just popping up at day highs here on decent volume now. 4% through 56 there for Pinduoduo.
Yeah, I mean, the Chinese names to be sure. Watch out for Alibaba making some power moves. Here's just going to show you a firm. That flushed off the open huge. It was about $1.20 to the downside. Now it's going to try to retest 23. I might not wait around for 23.50. Take something around that 23 just as a starter. But that line in the sand is approaching pretty quickly. And Tesla, a pretty similar story. You had that big flush to the, not huge flush, but a nice flush to the downside, got to 690. Now it's going to try and reclaim 700. Now the market is booming here. So this is one of those wick bottoms, and then your level that got rejected, which was 700, is now trying to be reclaimed. So now I want to sit this one out. Like, we already had the short. Because we took profit, it didn't turn into a losing trade for us. But if we hold above 700, this becomes a jailbreak long situation. So now we can sort of sit back, relax, see what tapers off the next minute or two off this level. And then for Amazon, I want to take this profit hopefully in front of 121. I did just miss a pop there, didn't get to 122.50. But this is at least looking relatively weak, even in that little pop that we just had in the futures. XOM is continuing to churn, so not really a lot of concerns there. I do have to watch Hellbiz as that is getting back down toward that $1 mark. And Jan, that Brennan brought to us, just broke $4. Got shy of 420 before slightly pulling back there. That is now jailbreaking. $4 was a big level. Watch out for 440 to 450. I do think it runs into some resistance there, so that's worth watching. I didn't see X1 break 101 yet, but I'm kind of hoping I can still catch a bit of a dip buy. That's eluding me right now.
Yeah, 101. Wow. Yeah, oil right now up to 118.30 something. So
Strong like
that's pretty strong. We've averaged in obviously to our Apple, but we are going to be very cautious if this does take down 146 or so. We don't want to be into this name for too much. We do have our 147 target. So if that does come in, man, we will try to respect some 147s there as well. So we don't want to be in this one too many shares here, but we are. So we've averaged into it. A good little average take on Amazon. As we got that 122 again, we actually got 121.90, and we just took it out at 121.30 there. So a couple plays to happen on Amazon. Hopefully that will come back in for us one more time, but we still like the short there. Here comes Apple starting now to print a little bit. We're short at 76 here. We'll start to take some more bids. I am nervous. It's hanging out upside here. I was not expecting Apple to do this. Obviously now we have a good average price. We just talked about that. We just got another bid there in the in the mid 60s. But yeah, not trading the way I thought it would here, Apple. Hanging out a little bit on the high side now. So it's fine. I still have some lower bids to come through here. Maybe we'll take a bid at 50 if we can get it and just lighten up a little bit more on this name. But for right now, Apple, we're going to just try to see what this name wants to do. The market's a nice little rally side here. And despite the market coming down, Apple relatively strong. Look at this, up 0.25. So I think we're on the wrong name here today, which is fine. We can easily get off of this. If Apple doesn't work, we'll get off of it and we'll go to something else. Amazon continues to work. We'll check out Microsoft and we'll check out Brendo quickly.
Peloton, guys, to the downside this morning. They named a former Amazon executive as CFO after market yesterday. A lot of people were talking about this in the pre-market. It was doing some pre-market volume. Tag 1250 there at the open, but straight southbound on heavy volume for Peloton.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with Peloton. I didn't see any volume on that one. I actually just got back in on Tesla when it reclaimed that 700 to the downside, and this is now the second break. Now, the second breakout of 700, it just turns into a long at this point for me. So I don't see any way that this isn't now like a jailbreak to the upside on Tesla. It tried to hold below 700. We took it twice. The first time won. The second time is just a straight loss. Now I'm just really looking for the long side of the trade here. If we have that V-shaped bottom, we know what can happen. 735, there's room to. All kinds of room to the upside. So I'm now into the long side of Tesla. Amazon in particular, I still haven't gotten that last fill on Amazon, and I don't like it. It got down to 121.20 and couldn't get my fill at 121 even. So I feel like I should be a little bit more aggressive. Maybe just taking this. It's now starting to crest. Like, I think this is running out of steam to that downside trade that was so good. But it's right now it's weak relative to the market. So I don't want to just jump out in front of it. I see Tesla screaming. I just was able to get Tesla out at 706 off to 700 long, so that pivot area has got to be a good one. But now time to watch out for some of the other shorts, because if we're jailbreaking, I mean, I love that NEO in front of 1935 or so, the 1920, and we talked about that looking weak, but this could jailbreak through resistance pretty quickly here. So now long Tesla, which is working out, but this NEO just came in, and 1940 is going to be the stop there. Brennan?
Not seeing anything on this yet, but just be aware, DWAC just popping up super light on volume, but huge volume spike there. Just took it up about $2, guys.
Always watch out for volume on DWAC. I'll tell you right now, that stock spreads it's almost untradeable unless you get like the greatest fill. Like, make sure you're never chasing that stock, because every time I look at it, it just tricks you into getting into something a little bit early. Just getting my stop in for NIO there. And so the way you got to look at this right now is the market is going up. Just understand how weak Amazon relatively looks here. It's actually going to be testing its low. So there's a part of me that doesn't want to be getting out of this too early there and wants to hold on to it. We'll see what happens ultimately. But Tesla, I mentioned reversing into the long side of the trade. At this point, every time it does this V-shaped bottom, I've been too slow to get back in, waiting for a breakout. Not this time. It gets back above 700. I'm just going to be long in front of 700. And that's what we're waiting. We want a direction. The direction it's picking seems to be to the upside. 735, I think, is a short level. So I think 720, 725 is an ultimate target for the long side of that trade. XOM did make that move. Look, it got all the way through 101. Again, I don't know where it's going here. Like, obviously, it's a breakout on the daily chart. I mean, 102.5. Just psychologically is going to make a little bit of sense here, but it did just make a sharp pullback off of 102, so I'm going to have to watch this one a little bit closely. It's a jailbreak now to the upside, and I'll watch oil futures as well, but it's just one of those things where you're absolutely chilling if you're long energy, because that's been the jam. It's just, I hate to say it is what it is, but in this market, it is what it is, and if you're trying to hold something to the long side, you hope it's energy, because that's what's been paying you for sure.
Yeah, energy's been great, man. We've been talking about that for a very, very long time. So hopefully you guys are into some of those names. Yeah, look, I'm a big, obviously I own, my second largest holdings Apple there. So yeah, to short it seems to be a problem. And we got out there. It wasn't a big hit, but enough of one where we averaged it and we were able to get something out. Remember, we said we were probably on the wrong name right now on Apple. So we're lightly into this. I do want to be able to short it though against this 147. So that's why we're waiting out for that to come through. It's right there, 147. I want to get short into that. If it takes out 147, then fine. We'll lose one more time here on Apple. But I still feel like it's okay, man. We're still short here at 195, 145, 145.95. So we're flat now on Apple. You want to talk about Amazon? Yeah, we already have the very bottom of the day there, 120.50. So, we've made money on Amazon, lost it on Apple. It's fine. Like, net will be flat if you had to take those both. It was more the target name that just went to the upside, so I credit to Sharif on that one. He was talking about long, so I hope he had that. Up to 152 there goes target. We cleaned it up early and then took some small hits late. So, breaks through 150, we got out. Then it broke back through 151 on the last piece of that. So that's, sending Target to the upside. So a good trade on that one. We could check back in on others. We could see what Macy's is doing. That's probably to the upside a little bit off the open, considering what Target did. Yes, there it goes upside. Now getting faded back right here. Amazon breaking back above 122 now. So watch out here, man.
Watch out, Amazon.
I'm not worried about this. I'm just worried about my Apple trade. Amazon to 124. I don't think that happens today. So we want to be short into Amazon, especially as it's making these moves upside. So I have a couple offers sitting here waiting on AMZN. So let's see where it goes from here. Short Amazon, short Apple. I called it as a short day, so let's see if that stays true.
Yeah, I did finally get a reload on Amazon at that in front of 122.5. I think if it takes that one, I'm still going to want to short it in front of 124, 125. But if it breaks that level, I'll temporarily get out of it and try to reload it. I just don't want this to turn into a bit of a mess. NEO just held there. So Tesla bounces. I mean, go figure. Like, Tesla bounces, NEO holds the 1940, and the second I saw Tesla break back out and NEO hold that level, I actually added back in to NIO. My stop is at that 40 level, and it went right to 40 and pulled back. I was able to add to it. Now we're just going to see if we can't retrace this one, maybe even into VWAP, because obviously the relative strength is in there. And much like much like XOM, this is more for Tesla. It's just sort of hanging on and understanding that if the market does try to get back into green or at green, that this is showing some signs of relative strength, and we want to make sure that we're continuing to ring the register on it, but to hold that core position. Amazon, I'm definitely going to get some out on that reload in front of 121.50 here. Just given what I've seen for Amazon, it hasn't given me that 121 fill. I'm still on the bid for it, still looking to capture. It's holding this 122.5, so taking in front of that first dollar is making some sense to me on Amazon, especially the way this market is going. Like, it's whipsaw action here, so you want to make sure you're banking some of your profit. The levels have been good. It's just a matter of making some money off of them. Ooh, HLBZ, sorry. Hellbiz, that's kind of going to plan, except for it didn't give me any more fills in front of a dollar. If it breaks 110, I want to hold till 115. I think it's a start to short it at 125 to 135, but that one, that's just a small cap. Play it off a buck. If it breaks 98s, I want to be out. Other than that, I might be in this one all day.
We're trying to get Amazon right here. We just had a reload there at 122.40. So if we can get Amazon at this 50 period, it keeps bouncing off this 121.70 area. So let's see what Amazon wants to do here, as it just took out that 122 again to the upside. It keeps resisting downside moves. So I would be worrisome on this play for sure as we go. I still like Facebook up here. It needs to come back in just a little bit more. I was debating hitting this 195 long, but it's pulling back here much more than, I mean, it's crazy because Apple's just strong today, so it's not fading out. Like, all these other names are starting to come in here and not Apple. Maybe Softy's only down 0.17. How much is Apple? Apple's up, right? Apple today's up, yeah, so that's going to be a problem. Softy was the other tech name that we were shorting yesterday that we realized was pretty weak until it turned strong, and then this happened for Microsoft. So we were really short early. We got out of the way when it blew to the upside. There it is. Okay, so now my order's loaded up there. So this was me yesterday on Microsoft, short, until finally it broke. We went a little bit long. It went all the way to the upside there. Microsoft was a positive name for us yesterday, but today we're starting to tick higher. So some of these names that we were shorting yesterday are long today. So you got to watch out here as Microsoft will try to find a level, but I feel like, we're short Apple. That looks like that's going to be a problem. I mean, right now we have a little bit of shares, but we do want to get more here as it's starting to go back up against that 147. So watch out for that as that's coming to the upside, as is Amazon still at that 124 rate, or 122, sorry. So we're going to watch out for that one. But what's up with some other names there, Brendo?
Natural gas names, guys, very strong right out of the gate. Here's a relatively small one. Gas Log Partners, which is GLOP. In New York, just made a recent high above yesterday, was 52-week highs through 650. Huge volume coming into GLOP.
Yeah, GLOP. I'm not calling that GLOP. I don't know what the company's name is, but it's GLOP. That's all. It's about to cross the 1 million share mark, so that's kind of at that level that
it's off, bro.
It's at least enough that we care about it. But another name sort of breaking out on the daily chart with no room to the upside. No levels to the upside. Obviously, I'd like to see it. 620 is your price. I mean, that's what you want to get. But I don't know if we'll get that. I mean, it's probably a buy, at least until those levels. But you like to see a strong move like that, bouncing off 50 and now making a breakout. XOM, that just sort of reminded me, it's still holding beneath that 102, but it just put another rejection at 102. There's a part of me that's telling myself I should be taking this one out and look for a re-entry point. So that's exactly what I'm going to go ahead and do. If it can give me a little bit of a push here, I'm going to put a trail in and then see if I can get some out in front of that 102 level. I just don't want to be giving up the profit on it. And if there's going to be a trend will mean that you can get back into it at some other levels. We talked about that with Tesla as well. I was able to get back into Tesla for the long side of the trade, or even reversing and then getting back in. So we'll see if we can't do the same thing with XOM. There'll be a chance at a 102 break. Maybe there's a chance at a VWAP retracement into 101. But I'm willing to play this trend, and if there's a pullback, I'll try to take advantage of it. Now Tesla's trying to boom. It just got through 710, so wow, this one looking pretty good. The market is now bouncing hard. I mean, Amazon went through that 122.50 level, so you are seeing that whipsaw action. I got out. Whoops. Oh, I took profit on it, so I got into an accidental long. I'll just take that one off. But we did get some out in front of 121.50s. Now I'm out of Amazon altogether. I'm looking for that 124, 125 level. That is what is going to be next. NIO broke back out above 1940. The market is booming, Brendo.
Some of the cannabis names, guys. Red to green in a hurry right out of the gate, and then some now. Cron up 4%, just made a day high on volume as well.
Run.
All right, we just got to that 147 area and got out, and then it came back down in. So we'll short one more time against 147.21 or so, which was that high. So we'll see if it takes it out. It broke higher, then kind of stopped. So normally I don't really do this. I don't want to get back into a name that we've been losing on today in Apple. But let's just see. That was a key level there of 147. So we'll see what it does right there. As now it's faded back in. This is going to sound silly, but we'll take a little bit of this out right now as we've been wrong. Are we on Apple still? Yeah. We'll take a little bit out there on Apple as we've been wrong on this name. So if it does fade back in and give us this 30, 40 cents on the bid here, we'll be able to take that now. I mean, where am I bidding here? 76s? Okay. Went down to 78 there. Hopefully we can get one more little move down in. But we are, there we go, 77s. I'm bidding 76s. Are you kidding me? Come on, Apple. Just push a little bit more there. And then we can get... Come on. We can get a little bit out there if it there it is. Oh, went to 76 and didn't get out. So, okay, Apple, I think you're going to do this to me. We'll bid some 79s then and take a little piece out at 79. There. Now give me 76. There it is. Nice little move back in now for Apple. So far, so good there. Yeah, Amazon does blow up a little bit here.
Might be a wick off top here in Amazon.
Yeah, we'll take a little more short. I mean, I didn't notice that wick off top because we were dealing with Apple, but we'll take another piece short. We did want to get way more shares if this went up to 123, but it didn't quite get there. So we'll wait to see on Amazon. But right now, Apple's really the apple of my eye because it's been going to the downside here a little bit and ripping me up to that 147. So there it comes right back down now. Come on, Apple. You can do it to the downside. Amazon on the reload, Apple on the reload. We're still in this game, baby. What's up, Brendo?
Big move for crude oil, guys. Back through 120 here, straight to the upside since the open. Goldman out with a revised upward outlook for Brent prices for the remainder of the year. XOM 3%, they all look like this. Crude oil, if I slide this over, you can see straight higher since equities open, guys, at 9:30.
Cash for crude oil. When I said wick off top is what I mean. Like it broke 122.50 on Amazon. It wicked higher, couldn't get through 123 and slammed. That is a rejection of a new price level. So that's a get back into the trade every single time. That's a huge rejection of the breakout. So I reloaded on Amazon pretty much at the same price, below 122.5, and then got back into it. XOM, I did exactly what we said we'd do. Look, maybe it'll turn out to be the wrong call. There's two things that could have happened here. In front of 102, I get out, it pulls back to VWAP, I get back in at 101, or I lose out on the next 25 cents by taking the 102 break. So if it breaks 102, I'll just get back in. I will have missed out on 25 cents worth of the trade to get back in at a higher price. But that's just one way to play the trade. It's a big level, but 100,000 shares. Sorry, is that 100,000 shares? Yeah, it's about 100,000 shares at 102 on that offer. So if it clears through that, we will get back into XOM to that upside trade. But a good look there in Amazon. Hellbiz, by the way, that's close to that 120 mark. So I'll be likely getting out of this one. We bought it off of $1. But at some point, I expect this thing to reverse. So I'm going to look for that short between 25 and 35. But I got to get out in front of 20 first. So Hellbiz, going to be out of that one. Just the Tesla long and the Amazon short left for me. But make sure you are ringing that register when you can. Because I know we've broken. It looks like we're going all over the place in the market. But the NASDAQ went like 0.1 down to 0.5% up. So it is some range-bound trading here. So make sure you are trading the names that are moving and taking the profit where it lies because it can go away in a hurry.
Yeah, we are. So we just got out of that Amazon again, right where we said we would, man. 121.90. So again, pretty good trading there on AMZN. My number one stock today, Amazon, obviously, as Apple didn't work out. But we did get out of half of our Apple. Our best out there was 50 or 48 or whatever that price is right there, probably for 50 right on. So we'll see if it can come in and fade out. We did get taken out there at 147, but then we punched right back in. It doesn't matter. We already took the hit there. So obviously, if this comes back in, we'd like to get something out around 146-ish. But this market really has not been cooperating too much there for us here today. We'll average in. We'll take some more Amazon right now. So we just took some more into that. We're going to give this up to 124. If that breaks, then we can get out and then revisit this name. So Amazon coming up to 124. We'll see if it really wants to do any damage as it gets closer to that level. So that's a name for us. And then Apple on the downside. And I did want to look at Facebook now that it's down to 1. Ooh, see, it's funny, like Apple's not tanking, but all these other names are. So, like I said, we're just on the wrong name right there for now with Apple. Hopefully, it will come back in, but right now, Facebook is the move. Like we just shorted Apple at the same time we shorted Facebook. That was from 195 down to 193.50. That's $1.50, and our Apple trade is like 20 cents in the money. So wrong name there. We'll look to Microsoft. We just reloaded Amazon there, and again another pretty easy play. So hopefully we can get something out around 122 as that's coming back in right now. So there it is again, man, like a glove. Can Amazon be back-to-back trades of the day? I don't know, but here we go to the downside. Amazon one more time, just reloading this trade over and over and over again as Apple's starting to come back down as well. Let's take another piece out.
Yeah, market's starting to come back in here. Tesla's about to retest that 700. It's been holding that line pretty much the entire time here. So like we did the first time, the other direction, I'm going to reload in front of that 700. Alibaba, by the way, getting close to 100 even. So if we reverse here, BABA 100 is in play. We had gotten out of NIO here, and when it took out that top, I think the short's going to come into play, back into play on NIO as well. So 1940, which was our out before, I'm just going to go right back to shorting in front of that key level. I was asked why I got out of Hellbiz, because if I think 125 I'd start shorting it, I'm going to get out in front of 120. I didn't get the short because it never quite got to 125. But just rinse and repeat where you can off these key levels, because that has been the type of game. Take your profit, and as long as that's the way the market is trading, that's what I want to be able to be doing here. Amazon, that 120, that wick off top, it's still holding that line. It was 122. I thought it was 80, but I guess you said it was 90. So 123, let's call it, right? The wick off top was to 123. As long as it holds below that, I think you just sort of line up and short it every single time. I got in a bit of Tesla there. Looks like I did not catch the fill. That is just the kind of market it is. It bounced off VWAP. It bounced without me, but I tried reloading on Tesla at 700. I tried reloading on XOM. Not much of a pullback. That's about to break that 102. So the only thing not really pulling back there was oil. Brendo, happening now.
Hey guys, yeah, 10 o'clock. Let's have a look at where we're at right now. It's still red, unfortunately, but choppy start really overall for the market. 0.5% there for the S&P. The Dow about the same. 0.65, in fact, to the downside. Small caps here, 0.6 across the board. The 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 all under pressure. It is the NASDAQ. It would appear at this point anyways, trying to lead us back to the upside, depending on which you are looking at. A couple things we were talking about, if you joined us in the pre-market, again, Target, the big story with the Q2 profit warning. Walmart got crushed, though, on that, down to 118. Not much of a bounce yet for Walmart. Back to the upside, however, 2.25%. Yeah, still, Novavax halted, guys, on this FDA review of their COVID vaccine. Back over to you.
All right. Yeah, we'll wait on more news there for Novavax. The only one, again, the only name that's on the sticky note that we haven't traded yet was Affirm. I know Proud was on that, was a good one, up to 23 bucks. I mean, that was a great short. We were going to wait for 24, 25, but there goes Affirm to the downside now. Yeah, there it goes, man. Amazon's starting to, I don't know if Amazon's going to break or not. We've been getting out of this one, like I said, perfectly reloaded up here on Amazon and right back in. So we'll just have to wait. Apple's starting to fade out now a little bit. Facebook, where are Facebook? Yeah, I saw that for Lucas dropping down the Timbits right now. But Facebook, I don't know. It sucks, man, because we just were on the wrong name. And we can still hold out for Apple. Apple's now 70 cents in the money and printing. So let's put another bid right now on Apple. Like, if we can get it, great on that name. But here comes Facebook right down to 192. That's a possible reload for some kind of a long, if we think this market's going to hold up. Let's test a Facebook long right here, guys.
Always got to show me when I'm eating. I'm like, yeah, I can. Sean's talking, the camera's on him, get some Timbits in there. You need the energy, man, and sometimes you just need a little bit of a sugar rush, and I love my Timbits. Bounce on Tesla looks like it's happening. I did get that reload just below 702. As usual, I'll try to scalp a little piece out, see if we can't hold on to it. I reloaded some Amazon, and I want to get some more shares here. And again, it's more playing the ranges. I understand it's counterintuitive to go short, one side of tech and long the other, but if it's going to work, we'll see what happens. It's just that 123 now, so we'll see if we can't get some more shares in front of it. I haven't gotten NEO, which was the other one that I said I wanted to re-engage on the short, because look what NEO's doing. It just continues to flush. I'm kind of kicking myself over this because I wasn't quite aggressive enough, I suppose, in trying to get back into that short side of the trade. It did reject that high. Unfortunately, it's gone without me to the downside. I don't know how I'm going to get back into this one. unless the market makes another strong push to the upside, which probably hurts at Amazon. Oh, Amazon just took that 23.
Oh, yeah.
I'm out. I just got stopped out of Amazon at 123, so I guess Tesla, yep. Stopped out of Amazon, that means Tesla just took another leg to the upside. So once again, we're reloaded on Tesla, still looking for 20 to 25, but 700 has held. Now I'm going to back off of NIO here, because after that strong push to the upside, I want to be a little more cautious and make sure we get some highs here. You know, if it's going to short again, I want off of that 19.4, but Tesla off to the races. As usual, so bouncing off of that 700 level. I'm still looking for it to take out the high of the day. It's got some signs of relative strength. Finally, XOM did break that 102. It didn't really go anywhere, though. So got to 102.09, but I am back into XOM. Because it's a breakout trade, I have to, oh God, there's an ugly wick here, apologies for that. I have to respect the fact that it's got a 50-cent range that it's put in at that top. I don't want to give it all back, so I'll put a tight stop on it there. If it ends up being a dip buy, I'll watch crude oil futures and see if I can't dip buy at 101, but I'm not going to hold it the whole dollar against me.
Okay, new position right now. We're trying to make a little bit of this money back here on the long side, so if we could do that, that'd be great. And it's going to be right here. Not Amazon. It's Facebook. We just took a long right now. I mean, we talked about just taking it. So that 192 against 192. I'm going to hold this all the way to 191. So this is not a big position. So with that being said, this small position needs to be held at least until 194.20 to make this worth it, because we want to try to load up down here around 191. So let's see if this one wants to start to fly upside there. We're not out of Amazon. It sucks because we're at 123.50 to try to get some more shares short, but we missed that trade as it doesn't come in. It just comes to 123.25. What's up, Brendo?
This moving oil, guys, igniting some of these little tiny low float energy stocks. Here's HUSA. Straight to the upside since the open, back to 6 almost. INDO, also another one looking very similar. I mean, it just took out the highs as well in a volume spike, I see. But even the low float energy names going.
Yeah, and that HUSA is like super, super strong. I saw people in the chat sort of starting to talk about it. It is at that big $6 level from a couple of days ago. So for the last couple of days, I should say. So this is a monster level already. I'm watching, I mean, XOM's holding that 102. So if I'm going to play a short, I mean, you have some highs that are getting made here. I just have to make sure we actually get some locates on this, because it is a little bit expensive. I said Hellbiz might turn around if it got to that 120 level. It looks like it's just done it without me. I got out, like we said. It was like, I forget, it was Dom asked me why I got out. I thought it was a 125 to start the short. Unfortunately, it does turn a little bit early, so I got out of it. I do want to get back in. I'll keep getting long in front of $1 until it breaks, but I do expect at some point, you keep retesting $1, it becomes a penny stock again at some point. So you got to make sure you have your out. I think I have mine at 98 and change or something along those lines. But we do want to make sure we're getting back in as long as it holds that buck.
All right. Yeah, just looking there, I see that HUSA. Wow, that's up to $6 right now. I guess you got to. Oh, man's name.
You got to pay for shorts.
Yeah, you got to pay for shorts. So that's probably a good opportunity to pay for those shorts. As this name is up, and away right now. HUSA up 20%. You could look at some other levels there. $6. We've already hit that a couple days ago. There's 6. There's 6 again coming in. So that the real high side would be 750 there on HUSA. All right. So again, but despite paying for shorts, that could be the trade that you want to do right now is into that $6. So $6 short, some consolidation back there. But you saw oil, man. I talked about that earlier. Valero's in my portfolio, XOM's in there, and so is XLE. So these are all starting to work to the upside. Let's just check in on Valero right now. These are for long terms. Oh, wow, 141. Wow. Valero continues to make a move. That's not the Valero chart, obviously, but there's Valero today. And again, not really a great day trading stock, although it's almost 1 million shares. Up to 142. That one's still printing out as well. Amazon really back up through 123. We don't have the short on yet. Well, we have a small one, but we want to get a little bit more on Amazon. And then Apple's dancing and Facebook's dancing now too. So we have one long, one short in big cap tech. And then we have Amazon, which we want to look at 124.
Well, I mean, at $6, I'll probably take a shot at this, and maybe just one swing. It could be 2 on that HUSA, HUSA. Yeah, why did I even try to say HUSA? It's HUSA. But if it breaks out from that level, you're going to count me out of that trade. Always have a hard stop on it, but I'm almost always going to take a shot at a tight stop idea off of that 6 even level. So I'm going to get my stop in there. It'll be a hard stop. I kind of feel like you have to pick your poison. Do you want to see it trade above that price? or do you just want to get out? Now, if we do break out from here, then I anticipate we have a decent shot at maybe XOM going as well. That is not a hedge by any stretch of the imagination, but if it works out that way, that's not necessarily the end of the world. I'm showing you pulling back on the 3 minutes so you can see that it didn't really even break 580 before. I think $6 is the bigger level, but it hasn't really been through this 580. That's why watch out for those breaks. If you looked at the high from yesterday at 580, you could be taking that break right into $6, which I never like that. I always feel like you should wait out for a little bit. Tesla continues to find resistance at now it doesn't want to load, continues to find resistance at that 710 level. I've made the mistake before of just getting out and not getting back in. If I do get out at 710, which is making some sense here, especially in this market, which continuously rug pulls on us, then I will be trying to get back in either at 700 or on a break of 710, preferably dip buys, because quite frankly, dip buys have been a heck of a lot better than breakouts in this market. But I think I need to take it out in front of 710 if it gets there again, Brendo.
Nice mover, guys. MRTX, which is Mirati Therapeutics, up on some positive cancer treatment data. This was actually out after market yesterday, but a report and also some investigational treatments into this specific type of cancer out yesterday. There's also a number of price target increases, I should say, on MRTX, up 25% so far.
I learned something every day, a new word, investigational. That's a pretty awesome word there. We're learning those every day. Trader Prad drops them on his show as well, and then we get investigational now from Brendo. So, okay, AMD right now, we're going to go short. Well, we just went short AMD. I was going to say we're going to go short, but there we are. Now short into AMD. And the market's starting to crack a little bit lower here. So, some of our calls haven't been great, but we will try to continue with them anyways and try to scalp there. Thank you. Come again. As AMD right there, nice little move to the downside there. We were just saying that some of our calls haven't been good, but there it is, man. AMD, a nice move on that break. There we go. The scalping continues on this name for me. This is not a name that we generally want to be short here, AMD. It's been a monster mover both ways, man, back down and around. So we'll take a short, though, as the market's trying to take down that 50 period. That's basically why we did it. We are now out of half of AMD on that short side. Look at Amazon again. This name just keeps on coming in. There's another print for us. Let's stick with something on the bid. See if we get an Amazon bid. Bang.
Size 100.
Bang right there on that one. Alibaba, Neil's on. We're on one right now in this market. So let's go to the downside. Neil's on Alibaba.
So Baba at 110, had a 100,000 seller at 110 on the 110 cents on the offer. So 100 hasn't broken yet on Baba, but somebody's selling a bunch of shares in front of that level, not behind it, but actually in front of it. So it looks like there is some sell pressure coming in the market, just rejecting that move up on the NASDAQ. I mean, obviously, it looked like we were jailbreaking a couple of times there, but we're rejecting that move. 100 on Alibaba is going to be a play. NEO looking still weak. I do want to be short on an NIO here, and it's Baba in NIO that I do like. It won't break 19. It did make a push to 1930. I said I'd back off of it. Now I'm going to jump right back in front of 1930 to be sure. HUSA did make that pullback. So the initial move back into about that 75 range off that $6 high. We did take half out. I'll play the rest into VWAP there. I actually have to cancel one of these bids back into VWAP, but the pullback's starting to come on, which might mean that XOM, the second trade, doesn't work out, but HUSA off 6 is going to. Brendo?
Just seeing some of the monkeypox stocks popping up here, guys. Looks like the CDC raising their alert level on monkeypox to severe once again. So SIGA, you can look at all of them, 9.5% here. SIGA just taking out the highs.
All right. So right now we're just, like a glove, man, like a fiddle, like a glove, whatever you want to do it, man. We are wearing and playing Amazon today, man. That's for damn sure. Boom, boom, boom. All these shorts, bring it in. Unfortunately, again, we missed that 123.50 by a matter of seconds. Like, that would have put us huge into the green if we would have got that short, but it doesn't. There's our last out on Amazon. We didn't even mean to get that out there. I was just sitting there with a bid at that 122 level. We should still have this short. We don't, but that is okay because everything else right now is printing cash money. There's that 147, man, coming through on Apple. it sucks that we're even down on Apple today when we wanted that 147 area, but I've got, you know, the wheels are spinning, man, on this. So I know what I did wrong on Apple right there, and yeah, we should have never gotten out. That's basically it right there. We should have believed in it a little bit more than we did, but that's fine. We're coming back in, man. That sucks that we got out of that Amazon because that is still going to go to the downside. I didn't even realize we had a bid there, so I'll just keep my offer as we go. AMD, you know, we're in scout mode for this. We just got a nice little bid down there as well on AMD. We got 104.03, so that was a nice bid to get. And again, you don't get them if you don't put the orders out, so we'll just continue to do that, man. Put them a little bit lower. I don't know what this market's going to do. It's hovering around this 50 period, so that's why we're getting lighter on some of these trades that we have right now, because it's just, why are we holding them? I mean, if the market is going to go back up to the upside, we definitely don't want to be short here on AMD. So that's another good trade for us. We're negative on two names, man. We're going to be negative on, well, the Facebook trade is a trade. We're waiting. I want this. Maybe we got to take a 192. Like, I was really trying to wait for 191, but maybe this 192 is the jam down there. So we can take another fill on that one. Holy crap, look at Apple right now. Now that's $1 in the money, that sucks, man. We should have, it's okay. We still have the short, so we'll watch out for that. Hopefully that continues to go down. Look at AMD, man. AMD going back up to the upside. So although the market doesn't seem to want to do that, AMD does. So this is going to be relatively strong. It just made that top there at 104.70. So we're going to have to watch out for AMD. It's definitely stronger than we thought here, which is fine. That's why we got out, man. That's why we scalped this as fast as we can. And we're going to get out some more here on a dip for AMD. Just licking the wounds on the last 10% or less than 10% that we have here on AMD, which it comes right back to flat for us. So let's get some out on AMD and work on something that we know is weaker. It sucks. I should still be short Amazon, man. That was too bad that I had a bid there pending. So that's Amazon for you.
Wick top on HUSA there. Of course, I do try the reverse. So what we made in the short, I will give back. Trying to go long on a 6 break on HUSA. It does take out that high, does not get very far. Got about to 05, and then immediately there was a size seller at 98 pushing it back down in. That kind of validates the short again, to be honest with you.
Honestly.
So I'll probably jump right back into it. Tesla reclaimed that 700. So I got out of it. I'm going to look to see if it holds a bit again above 700. It's a pretty simple notion for me. Like, every time we get on the other side of that trade, I just want to make sure that I'm getting into it. If it holds that holds that offer below 700, we can try to re-engage around 98. If it holds on the upside, then we can try and re-engage around the 1s and 2s like we were doing before. I said I should have gotten it all out at 710. Hindsight is always 20/20, right? But I thought there was room to 730, and you never get that unless you try to hold on to it. That's the way to go. I understand IMPP is also moving along with HUSA. Watch out for those. Crude oil makes a turn. Those can flush really fast. It happens to be HUSA that I'm watching, but any one of those names can be good for you if you take a shot at that oil trade. We're still above 101.50, so XOM, the second trade I'm still going to have on, and HLBZ has not given me a second entry point off of that $1 level, but I do want to defend it if it comes back down. It's about 109 now. I'm not taking it up here. I only want it in front of a buck. Brendo?
We talked about the continued strength today in DD Global. Here's another one, YMM, which is Full Truck Alliance. Another Chinese stock that was allowed back into some of the app stores in China, along with this one yesterday, DD, after they concluded their probe into that company. So here goes YMM, guys, just taking out the highs on decent volume as well.
All right, I need something that's relatively weak, man, because honestly, I'm so pissed off about Amazon. Like, we still should be short this name. We've absolutely destroyed this. We wanted to keep this all day for this short. Unfortunately, we did get out there on the bid, so I'm a little somber mood about AMZN. But we're pretty happy about everything else, man. Apple did touch. I didn't even, again, we were into that Amazon and lamenting on that. Also into AMD and now out of AMD. So AMD, yeah. Sorry about the Edmonton Oilers last night, but they lose there in overtime. Good game, I guess, but sad there for them as they get swept in the conference finals. But right there, just looking at AMD, it has made those highs. I do not want to short this. I need something that's relatively weak, like we just said. Maybe Amazon, if it does get bumped back up here. We do know that Apple maybe is strong. Let's just get out of Apple here. We're still 50 cents in the money, but it seems like it wants to really start to head northbound. So, hey, man, for me, that's fine. I want to figure out which way this market's going and then try to go that way. We thought the market would be weak today. Still down 0.6%. doesn't mean that it's weak. It's been actually strong all morning. A nice move back up to the upside there. I feel like we could retest that. So that's why we got out of our Amazon. We'll get out of our, that's why we got out of our AMD. We will get out of our Apple here, and I feel like we just need to go long. We're already long Facebook, guys. This is a big one for me. We should have averaged in down there at 192, so I'm pretty sure the name that we want to get long here is going to be Facebook if and when it comes back in. So that's a nice move back up to view up. We'll put an offer here, get out at 193.50 if we can, and then we'll see about taking it out on the high side. I still feel like we can go. Let's wait for 194, man, because if this market's strong, there it is. We're 50 cents in the money right now on that name, so we'll hit the siren, but we won't take it. Let's go a little higher here on Facebook. 194. Let's put our offer, see if we get touched down there. Remember, you can't get hit unless you offer out, so we'll put an offer, see if Facebook wants to rip up, but we do want to reload this name and get more shares if it comes back down to 192.50-ish. Right now, Facebook, only 50 cents in the money, Apple 50 cents as well. But we've made a hell of a lot of money back off that mistake there with Apple early. Other than that, everything's a jam. Target, though, wow, 155, 156, and still going. Good thing we stepped out of the way of that one. Will Target go green today? Wow.
That one, I said if it goes green, that's a surprise to me. So, I mean, the 160 level is where I want to try to get into it. And 155 to 160 is obviously a pretty interesting target range, but in front of 160. If it goes green, fair enough, but I'll have shorted it again before that price. XOM, I talked about waiting to 101.50. It did make a nice bounce off that. I was able to scalp some out. So back to where we were before, like 101.80 turns like resistance. Breakouts stink. So obviously, if we get back to 102, I want to offer above it to be sure. But if it takes out 101.50, I'm not reloading until we get back down into 101. IMPP, HUSA, all of these are making power moves. IMPP is a penny stock. I understand it's looking just as strong, but it also made a pullback the way that HUSA did, rejecting 6. This rejected 60 cents. So, watch these together if you have to. I think that makes a lot of sense. I did get into NEO, by the way, the short trade on NIO. In front of 1940. I want to wait till it gets to 40 before I add to any of this. I'm going to maintain the stop at the high of the day every single time. And Tesla, back above and holding that 700 level. So I'm going to go back to scalping Tesla off of that level, see if we can't energize back into the upside. But that's sort of slowing down on me. But you mentioned AMD, Sean. NVIDIA has a wick off top at 187. I kind of missed this the first time, but it just got back up there to 186.5. That put in a huge pullback, couple of dollars off of that level. If it gets back up there again, 187, that could be shortable if this market wants to stay resisting the top. It is already 10:20, which means we do have to get to Brendan and the small cap recap.
Hey guys, busy morning. Let's jump right into a couple we were talking about in the pre-market. BuzzFeed just absolutely collapsed. That's a daily chart yesterday. On that lockup expiration, I was waiting for a move a little bit higher, 3 to 325, even 280 would have been nice. Never happened, just absolutely collapsed again right out of the gate this morning. So would have liked a whole lot more, but never gave you the opportunity. But give you a trade anyways for BZFD. Back to the downside. This Jan 1, remember 2 million float. So that was the first key for me. 350 held initially as support. Tried the long out of the gate versus that 350. A nice move up to above 4. It had room to 425, 450 even, but failed at 4. Back downside now for JAN, guys. Back over to you.
Yeah, Jan 1, that's one I definitely forgot about. So Target just put a wick top at 155. I did enter into it. I just missed the curl. I barely missed the curl there on NEO there at 119.3. We'll see if I can get that one again. I do want to add to that short position. I just want to show you what's going on with the overall market because we keep talking about stocks going all over the place, but really you had this jailbreak to the upside and we bounced off of decent support on the NASDAQ, but we got about to the it's the overnight lows and then the afternoon, I guess aftermarket tops there. Not a huge bounce in the overall market and then rejected it. Now we're just consolidating. So you have a bit of a wick off top. That's why some of these shorts are still valid. If you have shorts in front of resistance levels, they're still okay because the market's not breaking out. If you got longs that are off support, then the market is trying to go to the upside. And that's why you've got to be trading what is making sense. You don't want to be jumping to new names or necessarily new ideas. It's about trading off the range that makes sense to you. That's why you'll see me keep going back over to Tesla. Like every time it holds the line on some of these longs, I'm just kind of reloading on the long and then sort of scalping it out. And ultimately, the longer we hold above 700, I still think, and obviously 710, if it gets there again, I'm going to get out of this trade. But that 720, 725, there's so much room to the upside for Tesla if we do get that kind of a jailbreak that I want to make sure I'm always holding on to a piece of it. Now, clearly that was the mistake, not getting a little bit more aggressive in front of 710 before, but as long as we keep reclaiming the 700 level, I'll keep going back to the well, buying the dips in front of whatever support we can find down there, scalping some out, taking a few bucks each time. A lot of times you'll get like that $2.5 to $5 move on Tesla, and then you'll see that jailbreak try to extend, and then I'll hold a piece of the trade. So I'm going back to that well. HUSA just made another recovery back into 6. So I tried the long on the reversal. It did not go. I said that probably gives me another chance to short it. I just got into it, but I always give it to the high of the day. If it breaks the high of the day, I'm going to be out of HUSA. If you're watching IMPP, I would expect if HUSA is doing this, IMPP is doing something similar. So that'll be me getting out of that HUSA there. I am still in the long in XOM, but it's a little bit different, right? Like I'll take pot shots at these smaller cap stocks, but usually I'm trying to play the trend and hold on to something like an ExxonMobil. If it gets through 102, I am trying to hold through the 102 level on ExxonMobil, thinking that we have lots of room to run. Maybe it takes them out in front of 102.5, but it's a jailbreak on the daily chart, so I want to make sure we give it some room to go. Brendo?
Just seeing Shopify popping up here on volume, guys. Looks like they have approved a 10-for-1 stock split. So Shopify joining the stock split parade these days.
I would, and obviously I'm wrong about this, but I would swear, I thought it was already approved, the Shopify split. I guess it wasn't. I guess they had said they were doing it and maybe the shareholders hadn't approved it. But yeah, for some reason I actually thought that was already the case. So I took this curl that we just saw here on target. It'll be the first one that we've had since it stopped out at 150 on the short side of the trade. I sat it out. I should have taken the first 155, but it just tried to make the break there. And now if it takes out 156, we'll exit again and keep looking for an opportunity to get back into it. Obviously a strong move for target, but at some point you have to sort of sit it out and then wait for an entry point. And that's what we think we got here off of this 155 curl. I already talked about those oil names. NVIDIA, which it looked like it put in that wick top there, which it did at 187. I just want to see it get back above or close to that price. Didn't quite get to 186.5. I'm not rushing into this trade, but 186.5, it gives you $1 worth of risk. That's almost 1-to-1 to VWAP. Not quite enough. Like I want to get good prices. I think that's sort of the issue. If you looked at Amazon this morning, or even Target, if you weren't getting good prices when you're going against the trend, then you're just getting crushed the whole way through. So I want to be very, very patient with this. I got a couple of longs that I feel good about holding on to. It's not a hedge on NIO, but I kind of feel like if Tesla pulls back in, I've got some levels on NIO that'll work to the short side, especially below this 1945 or so. I'm not really straying too far away from those. I know a lot of people have been talking about it. AMC here, it is making a decent move to the upside. It's only 3.5%, but when the market can't even go green, it is at least worth talking about. If it gets up to this, you can kind of see here 1265, 1275 level. You've got some serious resistance. 1250 has to come first, obviously, Brendo.
Just be aware, guys, Janet Yellen testifying in front of Congress right now regarding the 2023 budget, apparently. So the market's struggling at this 4100 area, but some comments coming through from Janet Yellen right now.
All right. Yeah, Janet Yellen never, well, I don't want to say never says anything positive, but we'll see what happens here with the market.
Never?
We did get a reload there on Amazon back in. It did actually take out when I was gone to the men's room and do a coffee reload there. Brad, don't hurt your hand, man. You got a show to do. But it came back in there to 122 flat on that. We did reload a 122.40. Let's see if it continues to come to the downside. We did get a 25, which is 25 cents, and then we just got an 03 there, which was 40 cents. We're short at 122.40 right now. Facebook, man, $1 in the money, so I don't know why we just hit the cannabis sign there, but there goes Facebook for a nice little move to the upside. one more time. I mean, we lose $1 on Apple, make it back here on Facebook on less shares. So Apple's really the only stock that I'm really worried about here. Target off that 156. We might have just made a top there near that 156, but not really sure about what to do with Target. It hasn't really been a very good trade for me today, for sure. We're negative on it, but we got out of the way, which is good, man. A 151 break. Next time when it's negative, and I was just talking to Sharif there, we're going to do a little bit more work here and try to look at a little more volume on drops like that, because I asked him what sort of triggered his thought for the long, and we talked about volume. So we'll look at that. I'll do some more work there when time is fit for that. Facebook, again, our target's up here, 194.40. We talked about that earlier, but we could not take it out when we just got $1 in the money. So we take our first out for that dollar. There's a 192.93. There's the out at 80s, so I guess it was about 90 cents there. Apple, I'm debating shorting again into this level. This kind of looks like yesterday, but again, we got caught up a little bit, too short into Apple, and we had to punch out, but we made some money back on this name, so I feel like we can do it again. It's just, what do we think about this market? This market's above right now, testing day highs. So for me, I want to be into something that's strong. We're already into Facebook. And right now, honestly, like the way Amazon's trading, if we can get another piece at around 122.11, I just put an 11 in, but 122.10, something like that to the downside, then that's really the play here. It looks like Amazon's trying to be strong. It just bounced off VWAP, which is where we got out there. If it does fade out, hopefully it can come back in. We're still going to hold 40% of this trade. I mean, I just think that if I can make 30 cents and try to scalp this, that might be the better play right now. As up, and away goes Facebook now, testing that 194 level that we've already seen. Let's see if we can look at 195 and try to make this. Here we go. A nice little blow up to the upside right now, as we're now $1.30 in the money on Facebook. As it goes. We reverse into the long on Amazon, so let's see if this one can get going now, as Amazon's starting to get juicy now to the upside, back into the 80s now on a break of the day high. Here goes Amazon. Here goes everything. We're now 30 cents in the money on that one. We're $1.50 in the money on Facebook, guys.
And we look, this time I'm going to take it, man. Oh, I hit the wrong. So that's confusing, because that's a new position thing for Sean. But I just got out of Tesla in front of that 710 level. Look, if it jailbreaks from here, I'll just find ways to get back into the trend. I've been pretty active on Tesla, making sure that I've had relatively tight stops each time, and then able to just jump back in when it holds support. So we did initially have the short below 700. Once it decided to hold above, we jailbreak into the long, because it was that wick off bottom at the open. And when you see that happen and it gets above your support level, it's got to be a long trade. If it pulls back, I want to be buying the dips on Tesla. I took Target did the same thing. It wick off tops to the top, wick off tops to the bottom. At this 155, 166, it's now just giving you try to break, try to pull back in. I've taken it once. I'm taking it a second time here in that 155 range. But if it holds above 156, maybe we just are headed to 160 and we have to sit that one out and see what happens. XOM, finally. XOM has reclaimed the 102 level. So we got a dip at 101.50. It's now back above 102. So, the original breakout trade, we said we'd give it to 101.50. Then we did favor a dip buy as well, so we kind of did both. But we took out that dip buy on the scalp at 101.80. And now we're just looking to see how far ExxonMobil can go. I have to watch oil futures, but super strong name. Maybe it has another leg to it. It's been the strongest sector, so hopefully that can continue here today. NIO is going to likely stop out. Obviously, if Tesla was going to work out, it was always the chance. I say this, and the NIO hasn't stopped out yet, but there's always the chance that the NIO short was not going to work. So it does feel like we're going to have to give up the NIO short at the high of the day now that Tesla has taken the top.
Yeah, exactly, guys. And yeah, that is the problem. And someone's saying that is the problem with not knowing our share size. But just take our trades for what they're worth there, and hopefully you're able to follow them a little bit. 150 to the upside on Facebook right now. We're still, even when we took this trade, regardless of share size, guys, I said that this was the target right into here. We're right here right now, 194.60. But I'm not going to stare this one in the face. Well, here it comes. Maybe we get it. We said 194.60, so maybe we could hold out to that level. You just got to take down that 3,000 shares, and then we will get out. Now it's pennies away from this call. I can't believe this is $1.70, $1.60 now in the money, and I'm battling with that one random penny that I picked out of the blue right now. So let's go. There it is. Yes, sir. And there it is. That's what we talked talked about, man. I said it, regardless of share size, that was the target right there for the high of the day on AMD. Up, up, and away. There we go. Nice little move now. Yeah, Lori, what's up, Lori? You could work with us. Send it to marketing@tradertv.live. If you are in Toronto, this floor is always looking to higher. What's up, Brendan?
Little one moving, guys. Siata Mobile, we've looked at a number of times on the show. SYTA on the NASDAQ. New product launch, push to talk on Verizon's network. Just popping up on big time volume here, up 10% for SYTA.
Yeah, there's another one. I mean, look, obviously we cannot trade absolutely everything, but you have to make sure that you're trading something that is moving. I think that's the first thing that does matter to us. And I just watched Amazon. 123, it looks like again. I stayed away from Amazon since the last time it took out that 123, but that's still resistance, it looks like, on this stock. So, obviously it's managed to hold. Remember, we were trying to get out 121.5 so many times, and it kept bouncing off that. So I think that's your new support in Amazon's 121.50. If we got a long day, I guess I only want to buy in front of that. But I'd rather be getting back into Tesla if I'm looking for the long side of the trade. So anything back close to that 700, that's one place to go along. I talked about NVIDIA being strong. It did give you that shot at 187. That was pretty much the moment that I was sort of getting back into Tesla, getting into Target, obviously, which that'll be a loser. So if I had taken this trade, probably it's going to stop out anyways. There goes Target through the high again. I might just have to wait for 160 on that stock because it feels like it's inevitable that it's going there. But NVIDIA, all of a sudden, looks pretty promising off 185. That chart looks a heck of a lot like Tesla's chart. You got a V-shaped bottom holding that higher low. The equivalent of 184 half, 185 is about that 700 on Tesla. So when I look at this, if I'm liking the long in Tesla under similar circumstances, why am I thinking about shorting off the high? The market wants to go up. I'll try buying the dips on NVIDIA because that's the same setup as Tesla, really.
All right, we're putting capital to work here, guys. So let's see what happens with Amazon at this level right now. I was trying to get some more short there at 123.30 or so, but that didn't want to come in. So maybe we may have to just. Well, I mean, we're starting to take more and more here. I don't want to. I'd rather take it a lot closer than this to this. So that's going to be a level that we're going to wait for now. That I feel like I have a decent position on now for Amazon. Obviously, we want this to. I mean, if it bumps up, that's bad because we don't want this to go against us, but we are sitting to get a few more shares. I just got impatient now, and that's not what we want to do. We want to try to be as patient as possible with this name because, again, the market's moving. And not only that, whenever you're trying to go short, like whenever you're going counter trade, which I'm doing right now, you do want to make sure that you respect some of these highs right there right now, right? And I know that was the same play there on USA as that, well, that's still an Amex name, eh? As that broke above $6 and just made a new high at 660, 650. So if you're going to go short this name, you got to watch out. Like I was just saying, like Neil there, you probably got out, what, 610 or something like that? So not.
Actually, my stop was 6.
Yeah, so not bad of a break at all. So that's part of what we're talking about here is like, regardless of what you think of the stock, you got to try to respect some levels because we know stories, obviously, of traders getting blown out like crazy, not respecting stops. So I just want to talk about that real quick. And really, respecting stops is what saved me here, not just today, but in general. We had our biggest year of our life last year, and we definitely adjusted our trading strategies. And today, it's just like, I came in with a bias short, and obviously the NASDAQ is now green. So normally, remember I turned our poor little bull into a bear there. And now it is like, no thank you. It's turned very, very bullish here today one more time. So okay, here comes Amazon right to the upside. So this is a shortable level for me. I don't even know why we're not short. So we'll offer that right here. I thought I had an offer, but I didn't. I thought it was at 25, but now it's at 26 as I just pushed offer enter. So let's just mark it down here. I don't really care. Oh, I was going to say I don't care what price. Oh, that's for Facebook, sorry. So I didn't care what price we got there. We should have been short Amazon there at 123. There we go. We'll take it now at 20s. But I thought I was waiting at 25. I guess not. So here we go. Now we're loaded up for the Amazon short. Hey, if it works, man. If not, we have 123.50 to stare at. And this is what I'm talking about. We'll take a 50-cent hit if it doesn't work, man. So target spot downside about 50 cents again. We'll see if that can work. But right now, Amazon exploding to the upside here as the market goes hella green off of what was a minus 1.5% day to start. What's up, Brendan?
Amazon making a purchase this morning, guys, for their Penn Place HQ2 this morning, $198 million. For 12 acres, this is a rendering, obviously, in Virginia, Pentagon City, Virginia. Not a market mover, but picking up 12 acres did Amazon this morning for $198 million in Pentagon City, guys.
Well, the render looks cool, I'll tell you that much. But obviously, the market is super strong right now. I'm like, obviously, the idea with Tesla for me getting out, I still think there's room to go, but I'm going to try to find my way back in. If it consolidates 10 to 12, I might just start going long off the 710 level instead of waiting for the pullback. But I think with Scott saying, watch Affirm. Yeah, Affirm, my alert just went off on Affirm because it got to that high of the day, the pre-market high. That was the shelf break. We didn't get the short out the open, but now it is a chance at a V-shaped bottom and a bit of a breakout. I have the 15-minute up just so you can kind of see here. If you pull back, like how big that level has been, if it reclaims above that 23.5 and breaks 24, there's room to the upside on Affirm. But until it does, I mean, it's sort of a fade until it's not. I'm looking for the curl off of that 23.5. I didn't short it until now because we want to make sure that we're not jumping in too early and then just sort of holding it against us. But we get above 24. Affirm has a chance to jailbreak and even go green on the session, which would actually happen before $24, incidentally.
All right, so yeah, Amazon did go. We're going to give it one more time like we did there on Apple. This time may not work. Amazon super strong, trying to take out new highs right now. We went short into 50, did not work. We got out, we got back in. Now let's see what it wants to do here. Take out a couple more pennies higher and we'll get out one more time. But we're just testing this because again, it went up to our level. It got taken out, so that's fine. Looks like it still wants to continue higher. Again, Apple, this is similar to that Apple trade, and you see where Apple is right now as that continues to go up, up, and away. Crazy to call that Facebook trade, but wow, 192.80, guys. Like, we got out at 194.60. It's at 196 right now. Like, Apple is just, or sorry, Facebook is just an absolute monster one more time today. Like, this name just keeps on working, and honestly, it's crazy that we didn't load more up down there, but Apple continuing to work as well. AMD, wow, good thing we got out of the way on that short, man. This is a profitable name for us. AMD busting to the upside as well. Look, as a bull, man, I'm super happy about this today, but it definitely caught me by surprise, man. I thought, you know, with Target coming through and showing some retail weakness, what I thought anyways, that's turning into some strength apparently for TGT. But here comes Amazon back down. It did resist a little bit. Just went for us 15 cents in the money, which is about how much we're going to lose. So we're thinking this can pull back a little bit more here off some of those levels. But wow, this market is super strong. What's that, 123.20? We should put some bids there to get out of this name if it does come back in. So right now, though, Amazon on one to the upside. So is Apple. So is everything right now. Wow, Facebook so strong. And over there on what looks like a pretty mixed board, which makes sense there. The S&P up 0.25, the NASDAQ up 0.45. It's Brendan with Sector Watch.
Hey guys, yeah, a little more green starting to come through though on this board. It was a lot more red to start the day. 0.26 right now, as you mentioned there, for the S&P 500. I'll point out this group, consumer discretionary, right off the bat, because this is where you'll find all of the retailers here under pressure because of Target, 1.3% currently to the downside. But as I mentioned, they're off the lows. But all of the retailers here under pressure, dragging down the overall market. NWL, WHR, and the consumer durables under pressure as well. The rest of these, though, starting to show signs of life. There's Ralph Lauren, there's Nike, we mentioned yesterday, even Tapestry, TPR having a pretty good day back to the upside. In the tech group down here, there's Salesforce, 2.5%. NOW, TYL, EPAM in the software names. Everything else, though, pretty weak as far as hardware and semiconductors are concerned. Energy leads as far as strength, though. Huge move for crude oil back to the upside, now up more than 1% on the day after being negative to start. So energy names really, really strong. I wanted to point out Smuckers there, SJM, up almost 5% after they increased their current quarter, I believe, forecast. I'll double check on that. Take-Two as well with a positive note this morning, up 3.5%. So we're heading in the right direction. A few more green spots to show guys on the board right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's getting more and more greens, I guess, throughout the day. Obviously, you had the gap down and the big move down in some of the retail names, so they might have to take some time to get green, but they're headed there. I thought we'd get back into Tesla, and this is sort of It'll happen. I mean, obviously, if I get out in front of resistance, I'm thinking that it's going to be a nice consolidation off of 10, and then I'd be able to get back into the trade. That can still happen now, but there's a decent chance if it pulls back, you could be talking about like an 8 to 11 style range. But the only thing I'm still in, only 20 minutes to go. We're almost at 11 o'clock. XOM still range bound at the top. So as long as it keeps bouncing off this 101.50, I know VWAP on my 3-minute is all the way down at 101.25 or so, but it keeps bouncing off the 50 level, and I'll sort of keep taking it, working alongside of this trade. But as the market screams higher, we're sort of running out of steam for XOM here on that 100 break. I can't ignore this. A lot of times I'd be looking to short if it made a wick top at 102 and a double top like this. So I'm going to continue to trim the position in front of 102, buy the dip. But 105 goes a third time here. I mean, sort of tests and breaks a third time. I will walk away from this. It just feels like we'll give up the ghost on that energy trade. It was a 100 break. I did try it short first in front of 100. Once it broke 100, we went to the long. It got the upgrade. Energy's been pretty strong, obviously. Apple is making a bit of a turn. And the reason I bring this up is if you look at what's carrying the overall market to the upside, no matter what's happening in any sector, generally speaking, we don't go anywhere without Apple and Microsoft. And Apple is pretty much or getting close to yesterday's top, so 148.50. We get to that level, and you're still in some of these market moving or tracking longs, and you find resistance there. Just watch for a bit of a pullback. If you got something weak, that could be the time to jump into it. I say that as a firm is now pulling back off that 23.50 level, that pre-market high, previous support level. It's just going sideways a little bit here. So it was here 5 minutes ago when I talked about it, still at that same price. I think now, if it can manage to get back below that 23.5 and Apple doesn't take the high, the NASDAQ doesn't take the high, I'd jump into that Affirm trade. But until that happens, I'm going to ride with the XOM trade. I'm going to try to buy that dip in Tesla and be very, very careful about taking any shorts unless I have a really good stop out. I want to understand where I'm getting out and where I'm wrong first. That's why I'm kind of looking at Affirm if it holds below 23.50. As I say that, it doesn't look like it wants to.
All right, yeah, no, Affirm's going up to the upside. We are back into an Apple short and an Affirm short right now. So the two AAs, AA and Alcohol Anonymous over here, it seems like right here. But there's the Affirm short. Neil just talked about it. We're in it against that level. And then Apple right now is at the day's high. Whatever. I mean, we have that level there. This is my most red stock of the day here is going to be Apple. And let's just see where we go now on this name as we just touched day's high on Apple. We take one more short. We are going to give this just a couple more pennies to the upside, like 148.25, something like that, 148.30 in change. But here it comes. We're short right now at 148. So let's just see if it does have that. And again, we're not trying to trade hastily here. We did like the Apple short, but there's the 148.50. So I guess we'll have to wait until then before we really get out of everything. But we do want to take a little piece out if it does take down that 148.30 or so, which is going to be on its way over to 148 flat. What's up, Randy? On that one. So right now we are short Apple, and we'll wait to see how far this name wants to go to the downside. I mean, I'm hoping it's quite far, but we will take some out in the 70s and 80s as we come back down. And then there's our Affirm short. We just took that. We'll see where this one goes. I'm thinking at least to 23 bucks, which is where we'll take a piece out, hopefully down near 23 if we get that. That's the 50 period, and right where some of that resistance was in the pre-market. But hey, this market has to fall for any of these to work.
Oh, what a Alibaba off that 100 level. I mean, when things don't break, obviously, I mean, it kind of works in both directions. But Alibaba right up to yesterday's high. So another name which is cresting right at these highs from yesterday. 102 and change looks like that top. So if there's any kind of a push to this absolute top, 102 and a half, that could be an area. Just looking for scalp shorts because the trend is still pretty strong here. So I think buy the dips. Scalp shorts off of key levels is the way to go. I'm not shorting Tesla at these levels because, quite frankly, it's not far enough. I mean, it would have to at least be at 725, so I'm going to stay away from it. But Apple, I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, I'm looking at Apple, and that looks like probably the one outside of Affirm that you could take a shot on. We talked about crypto a little bit, and I think we mentioned Square. But a big power move off of the 81 level for Square. This just turned green on the session. I would watch out. I mean, this looks like a pretty good jailbreak. 85, 86 yesterday had some rejections up there. It's still got some room to run. So if you're looking for something with more upside that you could be thinking about buying dips, I mean, support to 81 on square block, and then maybe you can be buying like 82s or something like that. But that just popped on the radar as going red to green just shortly ago.
We should have just made a lot more money there on, yeah, what are you guys doing? Yeah, right now. Okay, so I don't know what you guys are doing over there, so stop doing it, please, Fahad. But okay, right now we are short Apple. Oh, what I want to get to was Facebook. That's what it was. We're going to be short. I mean, we're just going to try Apple one more time. It's just so strong, man. Taking out new highs right here. We did, again, we scalped a little bit out there into the low 90s. High 80s, low 90s area there. I think 87, 88s, and some 90s. But here we go. Apple just motoring to the high side, and it was really this Facebook trade that really should have been watched a little closer there, man. Nice move up for Facebook today. Wow, we were long at 192.80, man. It's at 196 now. So whether or not that's a fade or not here for Facebook, I don't think so. I really like this name on the daily chart. There's so much room. It looks like it's kind of barcoding there on the daily chart, but we know the intraday moves that this thing is capable of. The last kind of levels there is 197. So maybe you get something into there. That high right there is 197.70. So if you're going to hold something against you, man, this is going to have to be a while. Facebook, if the market keeps on ripping, this name is gone off to the races. Sheryl Sandberg be damned. This one just upside there. Wow, XLE 52-week highs. HUSA still going. XLE 52-week highs. Are energy really working in the long-term account? Wow, $91 now for for XLE. Our XOM is bumping as well. We're long in the 30s on XOM. Like, that's just how ridiculous it was. I remember actually looking at my portfolio when we had Kevin O'Leary on, and I think XOM was like 35 or 36 bucks, and it was one of his calls. There's a lot of great calls back then for energy and a lot of different names, but I was like, you know what, I'll just hold on to these, and I actually haven't even looked at it. So it looks like we're up 300 or 400% on XOM, which is unbelievable. Never thought this name would run the way it has, man. I mean, this on a daily chart, and this is what I mean. It's not even like sure, it's a great trade, but this is where we were. It was actually even lower than this. XOM back down in 2020, obviously when oil went, see there it is right down here. To say you're up 300% on XOM really just means that you've just had to buy this thing like back in December of 2020. You could have got it at 40 bucks, right? So that's at a 102 print right now, so that wouldn't be 300%. It's more like down here. I believe we had them on close to this area because I remember it was like 35 or 36 bucks. So what a great run up for XOM, man, straight to the upside. Obviously, you could have had your poison on any oil name, energy name as well. Suncor, I mean, there's a whole bunch. You're even seeing HUSA up
yeah, I mean, those
50% today. So there's a lot of stuff ripping and rocking here as well. And we just averaged into our firm one more time before it breaks through 23. So watch out here on a firm up to 23. Our average price is 70. So we're out about 9 cents. Take that, the bid, 15 cents. But here it comes up to 23 AFRM. Without any further ado, though, it's Money Talks with Brendan, as we only have 10 minutes left. Let's go.
Hey guys, yeah, brought to you by the Small Exchange. Once again, check them out. Use the QR code on screen right now. Sign up today. Great information from the Small Exchange. Smallexchange.com, guys. No PDT rule. Less capital required as well for futures trading. I wanted to show you a chart here to start things off of Bitcoin. This is an hourly chart because we're making a move right now. In fact, happening as we speak. Bitcoin's breaking back through 30,000, back to the upside. So still down on the day here, 4.5%, but it was a lot lower overnight. This is an hourly chart, so big move down overnight, back to 30,000 currently. Otherwise, pretty quiet. Top end of the board here, the US dollar, you can see exactly flat on the day. There was some pressure early on for the British pound. There was a confidence vote in the UK Parliament this morning. Looks like it went through okay. So back to green here, 0.35 to the upside for their current government. Australia, New Zealand heading in opposite directions today. There was some discouraging data in Australia overnight I saw as well. So a bit of a mixed board so far, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, I'm going to, so in an effort to not be staring at Tesla, because I did miss any kind of a reload there, I said I'd get out and try to get back into it on a dip. It just continued to break out. So now it's at that 720. 725 target looks like it'll come in. I'm not happy about it, obviously. Feels like every time I'm just sort of in the trade over and over again. Maybe it's like over trading it, but it was alongside off that 700. It is there. But GameStop, which I'm not trying to ignore, it got to 135 here. I just went and paid for the locates. If you can look, you can kind of see what's been happening around this 135 level over and over again. I didn't trade it yesterday, but every time it's gotten up here, you have this 138 top. Sometimes it'll hold at 135 specifically. Those are the two levels to look at. If it breaks out of both, it's got room. Obviously, you can see it got to like 148 the other day. So there's always the chance that we can see another GameStop push. I'm going to wait patiently for it. I have paid for the locates. Apple just did the curl that I kind of hoped the firm would do that did not, which is not breaking that high of the day. The NASDAQ just got to 12.7. The ES, back to what I remember, because when I was filling in for Arun, he did mention a 4140 level. That's where the ES got to as Apple made the high and held it. So I probably wasn't patient enough with a firm, but I just got into Apple now when it reclaimed 148. Give it to that previous day high. Just feels like either you're trying to scalp off the shorts on some of these levels or look for some of those dips. And when it comes to Tesla, if we do dip back down, I think you can forget about 700 at this point. I'm thinking this 710 area, if we make any consolidation or bounce off of that, that's where I'll try to get back into the trade. Pretty much where we got out of it to the long side, we'd look to jump back in on Tesla. But I'm going to stick to the names that have worked here, not jump around too much. I mentioned Square, though, as a new one. That was one of the few with the big strong move also in Bitcoin that Brendan was talking about. I think part of the reason why you see Square so strong. So if that gets back down into VWAP and we're still trending up, I think it can be worthwhile to try to buy this one on a dip as well. Looks like we are getting a long day. So when you make sure you got some outs when you're taking your shorts, be picky around lunchtime because things do usually slow down, get a bit range bound. But yeah, this trend's still pretty strong to that upside. So I'm going to be favoring buying dips on the names that are super strong.
All right, we've, we're short Apple upside here at 148.03, and we've just been taking some out, right? So we're going to be very, very careful with this name because, again, it's just been blowing to the upside. We've tried the shorts a bunch of times. I mean, now it's working on these shorts, the last few, but we had to hold that against ourselves. So hopefully it comes back in. We'll take another 85, and then we'll hold for the rest. Hopefully we can get it down near this this 50 period and then maybe VWAP, but the market is pretty strong. We don't, you don't want to be short Apple here into a market that's going to take out the highs, right? So as the NASDAQ just looked like it wanted to pull back, we are well away now. I mean, when's the last time we ever saw the market this far away from the 50 period? So, I am expecting a little bit of a pullback, but sometimes when the market gets extended like this, that just means a lot more upside coming. So watch out for an upside, but we are sitting here on the bid for Apple. Again, 85s, we're trying to get some out, and then we're bidding that back down near the 50s as well on AAPL. And then honestly, man, a firm went into the money for us. It went down to 65s there before coming back. Remember, we're short at 70, so that wasn't a big enough trade for me to get out of, obviously, as that didn't really do anything down there in the 60s. But it did resist it at 66, 65 there, so that would have been a whopping 5 cents worth of a victory. So we're going to wait to see if these futures do continue to march or retrace off of 12,700. So that's the high rate there. Obviously, it's starting to make a little bit of a curl back upside right here. So yeah, watch out for that take. And then if you do break above 24, you got to give it a little bit more room than that, but not much more, as a firm right here on the 20-minute chart is coming right back into 24 bucks. Since we broke below it, man, we tested 22, but now we're marching back up. Remember, buy now, pay never. Apple into the game as well. So that could be something to watch out here for a firm. And remember, WWDC, Worldwide Developers Conference, on right now for AAPL, and they drop news in the afternoon. So we saw that yesterday come out. We saw Facebook absolutely rip up, and here goes Apple. Remember, like Neil and I, different positions, different sizes. So I got to scalp a little bit of this out because, again, we have an upsized position on Apple. I am expecting this to come to the downside right now, but, we'll take profit when we see it. And for now, that's not bad. Here it comes in. We're 30 cents in the money on Apple. Hopefully, this move will continue into the 50s, and we'll be able to get a little bit more out. So Apple's somewhat right now saving the day, but we need a little bit of a bigger move to the downside on this one. And then a firm as well starting to come back in as these futures are thinking about rolling. I don't know if Apple rolls, though, guys. So we're going to wait in the 50s and see if we get some more out of AAPL. L. Okay, I talked a bit there. Anything you want to talk about? Any of your trades here?
Just quickly, I mean, look, I took some Apple out as well. Obviously, it's starting to come back in. But before we go to earnings, GitLab is making a third test of the high of the day. Not quite to $50, but it's getting pretty close. And if I think the market can turn off these levels on the ES, I mean, something as strong as this, up 24% at a monster level like 50, yeah, that's probably going to be a shot for sure. I wish I got the long on GitLab. We talked about that 46.5. It was a good break at 46.5. Obviously too busy trading other things, which is not much of an excuse, but that's the only one I got, Brendo.
Yeah, GitLab on earnings. Decent report for them. Let's show you what's to come tonight, aftermarket, and before the open tomorrow. Remember, we get NIO tomorrow. We get DocuSign later in the week as well. But here's what's to come today.
Yeah. Thor. What else is on there? J. Jill, another retail name.
I'll eat Campbell's soup, but
coming through. But yeah, not too much. We'll wait. We'll be on the hunt for that Neo that you mentioned there. Doesn't seem like tomorrow's going to be that good. But yeah, as I just look at the board here, Alibaba's at 102 again. Here we go. We're starting to get a little bit of a move down now. Hopefully, here comes a firm back in. So we are sitting now at 64. I don't know why we're at 64 and not at 65 where we stopped last time. But we're just trying to take a little bit out here as this market's trying to fall in a little bit. Why aren't you going down now, Affirm? Like, really, that 65 is like some sort of a magical number, but hopefully that'll crack lower. We are sitting here in this clump somewhere. You could probably guess what gateway we're on there at 65. As here it comes back in. Let's take another piece out right now for Apple back in right now. So that's down to 60. We'll see if that comes through. Come on, that's still Apple right there back down in. And I got to cheer on like as if Affirm just wants to stop at 65. Hopefully it can't. Comes through, tanks through. I'm canceling that 64 bid. Forget about that. We'll wait now. As soon as I cancel it, you see what I'm saying? Like, as soon as I cancel that trade, bang, right there. So we talked about liquidity and whatnot, rearing its ugly head. Sometimes they see your order and they completely stop on it. So we should have watched out for that one. But Apple coming back in, Affirm. Unbelievable there, just bounces off again. As guess what, I bid 62 and the thing rips up. So we should have took that 64 bid. But right now, Apple's starting to motor to the downside, 40 cents in the money on this name. So yeah, we're getting saved here with this Apple short. Next bids, I mean, if we can get this 50 period down to 50 cents, we'll do that. I'm going to put a bid right now at low 60s. And then let's just hope that we do get an Affirm move downside and not some sort of a resistance for some reason in these mid 60s. Here we go. Come on, Affirm. You can do it. Take down 64 and let's start to go lower.
Yeah, and hopefully GitLab makes a bit of a turn here. If you got that long, I hope Prad got it. He's been like the rallying call. I think he understands the stock probably more than I do. But $50 is too good to be true. I am trying to add to it as the market pulls back. As long as they're below 50, this is the short that I want to try to get into. Everything else, I'm still looking for those dip buys. So as we head you guys over just in a few seconds to Trader Pratt, and of course I think it'll be Ian today, looking for some dip buys. I like Square around that 81, 82, somewhere in that pocket. Tesla around that 710 area. I just finally got some more shares to GitLab to the short side. I'll take Apple out in front of 147 if it gets there, but this is a super, super strong reaction that we've had on the day, and we have to respect it. I do want to get to, I know we talked about Veru, so very, very quickly on Veru, it just made another break of the high of the day. This is super strong today, so continuing to break higher. And if you are watching, the big level is around $17. That feels like it's incoming, so I'm getting locked and loaded for 17 on Veru. What a strong day it's had, up 18%. I mean, the market's strong move, but kind of feel like we've neglected this one.
Yeah, we've done really well on some of these names today, and we're going to hope to do the same thing. We did get our Affirm bid there for a whopping 10 cents. We actually got 62 there on Affirm, so we got 10 cents there worth of a trade. I still think we fall in. I don't know about this 23.35 area. I don't even think we hold that. I mean, I think if we fall on Affirm, we can get right down into 23 bucks. So that's really what we're holding out for, and we did empty out some of our Apple trade, as you guys know, upsized position. We got to get it out. I'm thinking the same thing, man. Hopefully we can retest some of these levels as maybe the NASDAQ does want to fade out a little bit here. We had to absorb this all the way down, so let's try not to be too hasty with our outs here. Make sure that we capture some profits. But yeah, what a crazy day, man. Let's see if Affirm can go to the downside. Let's see if Apple can continue to go to the downside. it's been a good one. So, you know, I think without any further ado here, we can probably wrap this thing up. It was a great day. Join us back for Tuesdays with Tony at 2:45. So we got that one coming through. That should be a lot of fun. He's going to be sitting there talking some stock and giving some Tonyisms as well. So that should be really fun. Glad we thought about that.
Yeah, definitely the Tonyisms. It's definitely worthwhile, but this market is worthwhile. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. You're going to head right on over to Trader Prad and Ian. Go get them.
Yeah, buddy, time for the Midday Mover Show with Trader Pride and Ian. Let's get some party going. Let's get some fun going. I know we got lots of movers, lots of stuff to talk about. Feel free to throw your tickers in the chat. And obviously, it's Tony Tuesday, baby. You're about to see Tony at 2:45 or so today. So stay tuned for that. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be an awesome, action-packed show throughout the day. Let's see what Ian did today.
Yeah, no, this morning has been it's been kind of crazy. Like a lot of things in play today. Like we talked about Target, Amazon, obviously like a second day move. I've actually crushed Amazon today. I've traded pretty well. You know, I was originally trying to look long. I had like the bounce in mind. But the early play was a short, right? And like Sean and Neil were talking about taking that short play off of like 122 and 122.50 area, those pre-market highs. But if you didn't get in pre-market, you were kind of getting in a little late if you got in after the market had opened, right? So initially I had a really bad short below 121, so that stopped out for a small loss. And then after that, like buying kind of stepped up above 121, right? So since then, I was just kind of trying to play the bounce. I tried going long here in front of like 121.50 area and just kind of stopped out for a small L, and then took it long through 122, right? And